Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by award-winning director Brian Redondo and Savon Jones, aka Captain Bonnie. This is episode 213, and we talk about what we're loving. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Confidently Wrong. I'm your host, Wesley Nakamura. Here's Savon Jones and Brian Redondo. Welcome back. Hello, guys.
Hello. We're doing voices today. The entire episode will be a different voice.
What voice is that?
I'm not really sure.
What in God's name is that?
Giving like
There's
Napoleon
a
Dynamite.
little bit of King of the Hill.
Oh, maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little.
All right. Well, last episode we were able to talk about Fallout Season 4 or Season 2. We have upcoming. What is coming up next? I know Mandalorian and Grogu is kind of coming up next. There's another show I think that's coming out pretty soon.
We got some Daredevil.
Oh, yeah,
we
Daredevil.
got some Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we are looking forward to those things, but we do have interests that we don't all necessarily watch or consume together, and so we thought we would do our dun 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 what we're loving.
What we're loving.
Savon, what is your what we're loving this week?
Yeah, I've been watching a new season of Bridgerton. Bridgerton season.
Oh my God.
I know it's not really your type of show, mostly because there's multiple characters and multiple things happening at the same time, and the characters use more than one sentence at a time, so you kind of got to be listening to what they say. But it's a good show.
Why would you watch that show? That's
yeah,
terrible.
it's not quite like Hero's Journey, Dr. Seuss, A, B, C, go to B, then they go to C, then D, then roll credits.
You already lost me.
It's
a
lot of different characters with names and motivations, and some characters you don't know what they want, and you kind of have to wonder, what does this person want? And that's part of the appeal. But yeah,
You think that
We know what they all want.
You
on
think you're
Bridgerton.
making fun of us, but we are making fun of you.
We know what they want on Bridgerton. It's
but
what
yeah,
we all
been
want
watching a
in
new
life.
season of Bridgerton. It's been good. Show follows this alternate history where the British Empire basically has royal subjects from, there are varieties of their different colonies at the time. So you just have a very big multicultural cast and something that plays in. But otherwise, it's meant to be historical romance following the Bridgerton family.
Wait, so you're saying that the diversity on the show Bridgerton is less of like okay, we're just doing some like colorful casting because
it's rooted in the lore of the show.
It's fun, but it's more that like it's a fantasy world in which the Brits have taken over everywhere.
No, so it's an alternate. So think of it as an alternate history show. During the time that the series takes place, like characters like Queen Charlotte and King George are real established figures. King George and his numerous mental illness that's seen in the show was a very real thing. Queen Charlotte was a real historical figure. All that's real. But what I'm saying is that the premise of the show is that during this time period, which is, during a time where the British Empire was very, very expansive, the premise is that they bring in subjects or people from now. They basically create a bunch of new royal families in the different countries where there are British colonies. So like there's one character who's been in the show from season 1. She's a black woman named Danbury. She's from Sierra Leone. Like that's her homeland. But for the sake of the show, when she was elevated to a place in the royal court and all that, now she lives there. My point is that the show gives it's not just colorful casting. There is like a slight story lore reason of why are there these aristocrats of African, Indian, Asian descent. There's like a very clear, this is why. British colonies elevated people from all those different ones into different royal courts in order to basically spread the wealth, and that explains there's still royalty, but representatives from all over the world. Point is, this new season though focuses on...
we know that it's fiction, I guess then.
Yeah, but
spreading the wealth.
I mean, I mean, keep in mind, it's still, like, to be clear, this isn't like them whitewashing it in terms of it's still not like a clear classes-based system, but they don't just do colorful casting for no reason. There is a reason why. And even in the Queen Charlotte prequel series, like, they talk about the tensions of that happening. It doesn't just happen magically overnight. Like, there is a lot of growing process and prejudice that they have to work through. Not my
So
point.
you watched the prequel series too?
Yeah, Queen Charlotte. It was really good. Gave a lot of context.
So you're like 5 seasons deep.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched all this. Yeah, I've caught up on everything. Anyways, this new season, every season usually focuses on one of the children of the Bridgerton family. It's a family of, at this point, 8 children, headed by their matriarch, Violet. One season usually focuses on one of those children. The time in the royal court season where, like, they're basically doing the dating, trying to match up for marriages season. And, these marriages are more about politics and wealth than just love and the balancing of that, right? This season focuses on their debaucherous second son of the family, who has always struggled with finding his place and not feeling a part of it. And he's like this, he ends up learning about this life. He kind of falls into this really, like, just debaucherous, a lot of drinking, sex, partying, bisexual, just going nuts lifestyle as he's discovering himself. And he has to find that balance of, okay, now you're expected to marry from just family and societal pressures. And how does he balance that with, his own desires? And we're kind of getting a quasi love story, not love story, but almost like a Cinderella story because of the person who's his love interest for the season. And it's good.
Asian lady?
Yes, actually. Sophie.
I'm looking at pictures.
Yeah. Yes, Sophie. But the big theme in this season that I've enjoyed in particular is that it really focuses a lot on status, class, and that's impact on relationship dynamics. So throughout the season,
stations.
So yeah, and your station. So throughout all these characters, like, a big theme is, even the queen and her best friend. The queen is struggling. She's an outsider in this world. Her best friend is an outsider. That's why the two of them work so well together. Her friend wants to go back to her homeland because she hasn't been there since he was a child. Now the queen is pulling rank, saying, no, you can't go. And now you have this dynamic of how do you balance a friendship versus you still existing in a hierarchical system. Even Benedict, our main character, the person, his love interest, she's a maid who has her own past and stuff to fill out. But a big theme is, how equal is this relationship if you care about her? But status, what does that mean? Is it scandals? Will she have her own background and being traumatized by that? And it's I've just enjoyed the focus on class in particular on top of the typical love story stuff. So there's a lot of subplots involving the royal families and their maids, and some treat their help way better than others, and others, the help is like, hey, we love it here, we get paid well, y'all treat us good, we don't really have any complaints. Others who say, and you ain't giving us a raise in forever, you say we're family, you don't really treat us that way, actually I quit. And so I've really enjoyed this season. Just, yeah, Bridgerton. And again, I've always said before, the costuming, the set pieces, it's all just so meticulously well done. Everybody is always in one of the hardest outfits you've ever seen in your effing life. We get a
Have you worn one of these costumes? Have you done Bridgerton cosplay yet?
I ain't got that kind of bread yet, but one day I'll love. But those fits are just, like I said, it's top tier. But, like,
you need more ruffles in your shirts.
Shit, look, I can get me a white ruffled shirt with some purple, like a Prince outfit. But all that to say, I'm loving the show because the production value in terms of just the costumes and set design is great as always. The themes of classism and that's impact on relationships, both platonic and romantic, is really, really enjoyable. And the character Benedict, just as this debaucherous second son trying to find his purpose, he's the one who people don't really take seriously, and he's not the most responsible out of his sibling group. Trying to figure out, oh, he's looking for love, is just very humorous to watch. Because if you've watched all the other seasons of Bridgerton, you're like, Benedict? Benihana? This guy? Okay, I guess.
Call him Benihana.
I call him Benihana. But yeah, it's just one of those. They've done a good job of cultivating these character relationships way over all these years of seasons, where even though one sibling isn't the focus for a certain season, once they are the new focus, you're like, okay, cool. Here's you moving from third most to most of this season. Your sibling, who was the focus last season, is shifting more to third or fourth, and it works because you still get to see the payoff of their long-term development, even if they weren't a lead character. But even beyond the romance shit, Bridgerton is just a good show. Highly recommend it.
And I can't believe this whole time that you've been espousing the greatness of Bridgerton, you buried the lead that this season the love interest is an Asian woman.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was relevant.
Do you know who you're talking to here?
So, you know what? I wasn't sure if y'all was gonna remember if she was Asian or not, and then y'all was gonna say, "Well, why is she Asian?" And then it's like the motivations of, okay, how are you gonna get me? How do I care about this? So I just thought, you know what,
There's
man?
like a whole Asian family in this season, right?
Yeah, the whole Asian family. They're
How
the Penwoods.
how do you watch this show? So like, is it a fun watch? Like,
Well,
What the
Wesley,
hell
you
is
turn
wrong?
on your
What
television.
the hell is wrong with you? The fact that you have to answer that, I feel like it's such a fundamental.
I mean, like, there are shows
What
that you
fucking
turn
question
on
is
where
that,
it's
Wes?
like
I'm sorry.
it's just in the background. There are some shows where it's like I watch it with my spouse. There are some shows where it's like I gotta take notes and I gotta make sure like I got all the ins
So
and outs and all
here's
the Easter
my
eggs.
new opinion.
How do you watch this show? Is it like totally mindless? Like I'm into it. I'm just like this is my guilty pleasure show. Like what's in the
I'm
mind
gonna
of someone?
keep it a buck, man. I'm realizing this. Unless it's children's television, you should probably just be watching the show.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm realizing that it's a show.
What's your mindset when you're watching it? Are you like, I just want to be entertained? Are you like, I want to know the ins and outs of these families? Like, what do you get out of the show?
You know that the characters are going to end up together because it's a romance show, and that's the driving force about these characters finding love. So this show is not about the destination; it's about the journey. You know from the beginning that, oh, okay, this is the love interest. Okay, we know that they're going to get together. That's not the hard part to piece together. It's the how do we get there? We know what
conflicts will we have.
We know who the love interest is going to be with those two in the first episode. You know, oh, okay, cool. So they're
meant to be.
These are the two who are going to end up together because we just know how they're setting it up. But you have no idea how they're going to get there over these 8 episodes. And even just with the 4, I'm halfway through the season, even with this halfway point, it's like, okay, we know it's going to happen. But even now they're at a point of, shit, I don't know how it's going to happen. Like, Benedict, you really effed this up. I don't know how we're going to end up with you two being together like we would expect you to. But that's the fun part, is the journey and seeing it and how it plays out. So you watch the show knowing that people are going to find love. The appeal is in their journey and twists and turns of getting to that point, knowing there'll be mistakes, there'll be misunderstandings. People will do things that you might not like what they would do or what you would do in the moment, Wes. But like that is the journey, is that people do frustrating things in line with their character that can feel self-sabotaging, but you hope that, okay, as this goes on, they'll grow, learn, have a revelation, and that'll get them to be a better, happier version. Which has been I think that's the trend of each show. A lot of ups and downs, but the siblings who's the focus will find, or at least if they don't find their person, they'll find a satisfying, something that's a satisfying.
That's
so
like
what you're saying is that you watch Bridgerton with the same intense focus as you do Game of Thrones, Invincible.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a buck, and maybe I'm gonna sound like an ass saying it this way, but I'm gonna just say my piece. I'm realizing if I'm watching a TV show, I'm kind of just locked in no matter what. Like if I'm watching a show, I'm watching.
Locked in Savon. That's where he's at. That's why he's the MVP.
I'm not the MVP. We spent a whole episode of just me being like, no one watched this shit. So not the MVP. It is awful. It is awful. No, I might stop paying attention. That way I could feel I could protect my peace. But no, I'm realizing I don't like doing it. If I'm watching a show, I want to be watching. If I want to be on my phone doing something else, I'll just turn the show off.
I agree with that. Most of the time.
I agree with that. I never do that.
I agree with what you're saying. I don't always do it, but I
got times where I'm like, oh, I'm watching something, I'm doing something else. I'll just pause this. But also, I don't watch a lot of TV.
That's fair. Okay, so wait, the young, well, not young, they're all young. The small, like short woman with the like bright red hair in these pictures. She's from. I saw her. You don't know what I'm talking about?
That's the one that writes the gossip column.
Oh,
even I know my Bridgerton.
What? Oh my god. Yeah. What about her?
She's short. She's got like bright red hair.
She was like season 2 or season 3.
I mean, yeah. What about her?
She's been on this and then. Well, so she's been in the whole show. She was newer. I thought she was newer to the show, but she was from Dairy Girls, which is a Netflix show. Hilarious on that show.
It's the show about the Irish girls, huh?
the show about the Irish girls. Is she also like a comedic figure here, or is she more like in the dramatic side on this one?
A little bit of both. I
Okay.
mean, she's also a character who's been in the series the entire, like, she's been there the whole. A key point
I
of the
thought
series.
she just joined like last season. Like
she is like
years.
she is like one of the defining. I think Brian. She's probably arguably the
But
most
she had
iconic character
her
of the
love
show.
story didn't pop off.
But she had her love story focus was one of the more recent seasons. But no, her whole thing is that she writes a gossip column that no one knows about, and the gossip column is
like
always
she does it anonymously.
Yes.
Okay.
And no one knows who she is, and she makes a lot of money doing it too. But a whole plot point throughout the series is that she's always, because she's like an invisible wallflower, she's not considered traditionally attractive in ways some of the other people are. She like writes a gossip column that's usually a plot point of happening in the show. So usually her gossip columns also help drive plots and things happening because she's gossiping, for better or for worse.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's like one of the top build people. It's
Oh, yeah.
Nicola Coughlin.
No matter what season's happening, Whistledown's there writing her column, and it's a key part. But yeah, it's a good show. It's a good
Her
romance.
name is Penelope Featherington.
Yeah, the character.
Her
Yeah,
full
Penn.
name?
Yeah, Penn. They call her Penn.
All
Whistledown
right.
is her pseudonym for her
Gotcha.
writing because it's anonymous.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
she's hilarious.
Bridgerton season 4. It's good. I highly recommend you watch it. Production value is great. It's enjoyable with stakes, but without being a downer of a show. It'll surprise you.
All right.
How many of our audience do you think we've lost? Just now talking about
that's so rude. We've lost none of them because they wanted to hear what Savon had to say.
You know what?
I'm sorry for my friend.
You
I'm
can't
sorry for
lose
my
the
friends.
audience we
Savon,
don't have.
I'm sorry for my friend Savon.
Oh no, I'm not sorry for my friend. I'm saying I'm sure no, because then I was gonna come for both of y'all. I'm gonna leave y'all be. I'm gonna leave y'all be.
Savon. You did a great job framing that. I am more interested because you have shared that with us.
I'm good.
I'm surprised you actually haven't seen it, right? Like you're a married guy.
Jen watches it. Yeah, Jen watches
exactly.
It's too many
characters.
It's too many.
Very popular
it's too
show
many
for
things.
A reason.
It's too. There's more than 5 named characters with like plot point shit happening. I don't think it's huge. There's multiple houses that are like royal families. They all have their own different like things going on.
Just because I prefer to be there to be
coherent. There are some long running,
straight
up West. There are long running plots in this series that span multiple seasons.
I don't mind that. I just don't mind if the show doesn't.
They won't answer it in the first 2 episodes.
No, they just don't make it important. So, Jen, I felt like she stopped watching this season. I think she was kind of like, I kind of lost interest, and some of the acting isn't like that great this season. So, I feel like she has been not as excited about this one. That's the impression I get. But she's also very busy and doesn't watch a lot of TV, so that makes it harder.
I'm glad this thing I'm enjoying. I'm glad your wife doesn't enjoy it.
All right. Okay. What we're loving this week, or what I love this week, is I've been audiobooking the prequels to the Hunger Games series on audiobook. Rented it from the library.
Thank you for changing your terminology. He did not say he's been reading these books. He's been audiobooking.
Yeah,
that's very clear. Makes perfect sense.
Okay. I mean, I still consider it reading the book, but it's fine if you don't.
It's not the same, but it's still a good way to learn the information.
Okay, wait. This will not surprise you, though. So, I don't know. Maybe it was like 3 weeks ago. I saw the trailer for Sunrise on the Reaping, I think. Or I saw it on the list when we were talking about the preview for the year, and it's going to come out in the fall. So, they're going to do a movie on the second prequel book. I was like, well, let me go read the first one, and then I can read the second book, and then I can be ready for the movie when it comes out. Pull up the audiobook, rent it from the library. It takes, off a hold like a week or 2 or whatever to get it. And I start listening to it. I'm like, oh, this sounds familiar. And then I listen some more and I'm like, oh, this sounds familiar. I'm like, I've definitely listened to this book before. And the whole entire book, I'm listening to it being like, I know I've read this book and I have no idea what's happening next. So that's how my brain works. Completely, 100%. I had no idea what was going to happen next. I couldn't predict it, couldn't tell you. After it happened, I'd be like, yeah, that definitely, I remember that happening now that I've read that. So,
to be fair, I will say that there's so much Hunger Games content out there that, by the time you like re-up on like the 5th, 6th, 7th thing, like maybe it starts sounding familiar even if you haven't heard it before.
I mean, no, but maybe. But I've definitely read that book before. So anyways, it was nice to get through the first one. I think by the end of it, I actually didn't enjoy the first one completely, the first prequel book, I felt like in some ways the book started where it ended, and it didn't actually develop certain things that I thought would make, like, why it felt like, why did we have to have this story? And it didn't feel like we actually did have to have the story, but I get why, like, it was there. I don't want to give away spoilers because, you know, not many people maybe have read it or have seen it that have listened to the show. In the second book, so I've just started the second, not just, I'm about halfway or 2/3 of the way through the second book. Much more enjoyable to me. It focuses on Haymitch, who, if you remember from the first book, set of books or the movies, Haymitch is the mentor of Katniss, Jennifer Lawrence's character in the movie, and he's supposed to be providing some kind of like guidance and like hints and training or whatever, some, you know, some Yoda-esque presence. And instead,
that's Woody Harrelson's character.
Woody
right?
Harrelson's character, and instead he's just a drunk bastard who is no help and just kind of a disaster, walking around in the capital. And so this book focuses on Haymitch in his lead up to the games and his performance in the games and what he's like. And there's definitely a lot of parallels to, I think, the first book into the Hunger Games, you know, with Katniss and stuff like that. I didn't realize that we focus really a lot on District 12. So like, it'd be interesting, right? Like the author, I forget her name. She could explore, I think Susan Collins, is that right? She could explore these other districts, and she doesn't. She really keeps all of these stories kind of with the Hunger Games and with District 12. And I feel like that'd be kind of an interesting place for her to go in some more prequels or some offshoot series to go into all these other districts and see what they're like. But anyways, Haymitch is also from District 12, which is where Katniss was from in the first movies. And there's just like a lot of cool things. We get some cameos from characters that we see later, like Beatty, who is in, I think, the second movie and second book, shows up here, and we learn a little bit more about him and actually some of his like tragic backstory that we don't actually learn in the first in the main series of novels. So I think this second book has really been really enjoyable for me. Not I think, it has been really enjoyable for me because not only is it pulling in just a few cameos here and there, we get to learn more about it, but there's a clear like rooting interest in the character, and to see how Haymitch develops, how he changes, what he has to deal with, and like what might explain the way that he is as an adult, or when we meet him in Hunger Games, and like how that informs like our understanding of that character. And I think that's probably a good way to go about it, doing a prequel. So for listeners out there, knowing that there's a movie coming out at the end of the year, I was excited to see it, and I think this book certainly has, so far at least, has been a nice, I don't know, presence in my past couple weeks when I'm listening to the book. So I don't know. Brian,
is Haymitch interesting?
He is. Yeah.
What's his deal?
What
Before he was
do
a
you mean, what's
drunk,
his deal?
like, I mean, like, what in this prequel book, like, what is the driving force of this character?
Oh, so like he's a young kid, and he ends up like trying to step in during a reaping because the reaping goes a little bit chaotic and haywire, and he's kind of he's obviously,
he steps in the way Katniss stepped in
a little bit, yeah. So he tries to protect his girlfriend, or someone that he's kind of in a semi relationship with, or maybe a relationship with, and they end up taking him instead of the person that they were going to take, because they ended up, this is a little bit of a mini spoiler, it happens in the first part of the book, because the reaping goes haywire, one kid like tries to run away, and the peacekeepers shoot him dead, and the person who's running it, like, you know, like, how do you remember Effie's character in the first movie? She's kind of the like Elizabeth Banks, like, oh, da, 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 da. She's like supposed to be kind of they're also their guide person.
She's the Bridgerton crossover.
Yeah, she's got the big hair and stuff, and she's very, she's full on district. So there's a version of that person, right, who's at the reaping now, and she is like, well, I can't just send 3 people. I can't have this be the situation that the district or the capital sees. And so she's like, well, just pull him. Because they had already kind of like detained him because he had tried to get in the way of like the peacekeepers like beating up on his girlfriend. And she's like, just grab him. And so like he ends up getting into the Hunger Games that way. His name wasn't even called, like, supposed to be called, but she needed a replacement for the kid that died, and he had tried to step in to protect the girlfriend in the chaos that followed. And so now he's in it, and he's, trying to figure out like, how do I navigate this? He's not someone who wants to like win the games. He doesn't want to kill people. He doesn't want to like do all these things. He feels sad about the situation and kind of just wants to be a like big middle finger to the Capitol for it.
So is he anything like the character from the series, or is it just him in name only? Like, is there any?
I think he's
like
most
if you like I've seen all the series with the movies with the live action portrayal of him with Woody Harrelson, and I've seen how that character is. So you seeing this younger version of him, is it one of those he's so different he might as well be a different character and all they have in common is name? Or like, what's the similarities between this character you have now and the character we saw in Hunger Games outside of like the name?
I kind of forget he does a little bit start to support the rebellion right by the end of the films, and he sort of starts to get himself a little bit together. It's just that like they make I remember the book making a big deal about Haymitch just sort of being a drunk, mostly because everybody sort of understands he's gone through, X number of years, 20 some odd years of all of his mentors dying basically, right? And he feels helpless to like help them. And so I think this book is much more when he's in a little bit more of an idealistic, like I can make a difference, or like I'm not going to give the Capitol the satisfaction of, me, just being like a propaganda piece for their, for their messaging. So he's a lot more like Katniss in that way. He's a lot more like, okay, well, how can I subvert the system? How can I, like, he tries to sneak in some kind of like flint striker thing so he could make like a fire or something, right? That maybe won't be allowed. There's this deal about like setting up alliances and things like that he's involved in. And so there's a lot of stuff where he's just like, I'm not really trying to play the game that you want me to play, because obviously the thing is rigged in the first place. So like he doesn't buy into it, and he's actively trying to figure out ways to like, undo it or mess it up for them or whatever, so very much in that rebellious like Katniss spirit, I think.
So he will probably be beaten down into submission by the end of this book.
Yeah, that would be my guess, right?
Like we kind of at this point we know that he's gonna we know this is one of those, we know where his journey ends. Just a matter of seeing
exactly. But I think it's good, right? The first book focuses a lot on it is about President Snow, or who we later know as President Snow. And, it's like he's kind of a little bit of a dick at the beginning, and he's kind of he is a dick at the end of the movie. And like, it just felt like we already knew that was going to happen. Like, you didn't show us how you turn from somebody. In fact, like the events of the book to me felt like you should have been like more like Katniss by the end of it, like seeing how all of this stuff played out. And it felt like, oh, you just got the wrong lesson, and you just turned into like, oh, well, now I'm like all for the Capitol and control and all this stuff. And it's like, was that really the lesson you were supposed to learn from everything that happened to you in this book? Because you were already like, it just felt like he didn't grow from it. He just like doubled down on like being like, an elitist son of a bitch. So I felt like that book to me felt disappointing in that, it's like, great, we learned more about him and like what happened to him, but we didn't see him develop. We just saw him just, I don't know. It's like villain origin story, but not from a place of like he was a good person. He just ended up being like worse of a person than he already was.
That's still development.
It was. I mean, it wasn't nothing, and I'm probably overstating it. He was like more of a middle person, but he was a Capitol-born kid who was already part of the aristocracy. It wasn't like he worked his way up from the bottom of the aristocracy to like do something. It was like he was already there. He
started from the top. Now we're here.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, and he deals with like not having any money, so like he's kind of like the old guard of aristocracy. Like, what was that show Downton, where like they're rich by name and in title, but didn't actually have like actual funds. That's kind of like where his family has fallen at this point in the book. But anyways, second book to me, more exciting. Definitely, I think step up in terms of how it's going so far. And I recommend the second book. I don't think you need to read the first book to read the second book of the prequel series. They're not.
You don't even need to read the second book. You can listen to it.
You don't even need to read.
You can wait for the movie.
You can wait for the movie. It's true.
You can just read the Wikipedia page.
I love doing that. I was going to do that for Fallout.
All right. Well, anyways, I hope I sold it. I really do think a lot of people would like it. If you liked the original Hunger Games series at all, especially that first book, I think this one feels very much like it was well put together so far. And I want to say so far because like if you don't land the plane, like yeah, it could go kind of south. But the characters are interesting. The interactions feel like tight. Like everything is kind of moving along, and it doesn't feel like, wow, we just started wasting our time here, or why are you telling me this? You know, everything feels emotionally invested. So I think pretty well crafted. Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So Sunrise on the Reaping. I still don't know who wrote it. Probably should do that. Suzanne Collins, not Susan Collins. Suzanne Collins. And it follows up the book. The other one was called The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, I think. So this is Sunrise on the Reaping. I enjoy it so far. I think 4 out of 5 stars. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
When you said that the book does a good job of like keeping things tight and like moving along, doesn't waste your time, it got me thinking, like, are there podcasts out there where they review other podcasts as to whether or not those podcasts are keep it moving, and like merit your time? And anyway.
There should be, or there should be some kind of review on that. Brian,
there is a way to review podcasts. Give us 5 stars.
5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. We only need 5 stars. Brian is intentionally slowing down the show to make a point about the show being
You're
slow.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And I'm going to slow it down by even more.
All right. Hit us up.
What's listing all my what I'm loving options.
He always does this.
Things.
Savon, correct me if I'm wrong. He always does choices. At least 2 of his what we're lovings when we do a what we're loving. We name one and he names 2. I do it too sometimes.
It's the only time I get to outwardly talk about all the things that I'm doing.
Show how elite you are.
That like nobody else. I don't enjoy any of these things with any other human being. So now's my time to like let it out.
I just have to learn to let y'all be great. I gotta let you not listen and let Brian just be on his little mountaintop, and I just gotta let y'all be y'all best selves.
That is the correct lesson. I'm glad you learned it.
That's leadership. I need to learn lessons from Savon right now.
This is an MVP, man. Sometimes you gotta let your role players play their roles.
Look, man, I gotta accept that Wes is gonna just be my J.R. Smith, and I have to stop doing this and start doing this. And I gotta meet him at the middle.
You could have won the game, man. What are you doing?
Wes, you're my JR, and you know what? Everyone loves JR. Once you learn to accept JR for who he is.
He's gotten better in retirement.
Oh, JR doing great.
Am I wrong? Right? Like he's like even
golf team
more like
college.
Oh, I love this guy. He went back to college. He played on the golf team at like North Carolina A&M or something.
I think A&T, yeah.
I don't know. Love it. Again, like Wes, good person. Just one of those you got to meet him in the middle when it comes to performance work related stuff.
Shout out to
in a team setting.
All right, Brian, what's your what we're loving, or what's we're loving, as the case may be?
The what's I'm loving. Yeah. I just want to. So I'm gonna go with the video game. I'm gonna talk about the video game.
Okay.
But I did have a movie pick, which was.
You have a TV show pick too, a food pick.
Of course, I got a TV show. I got all the bases
a dinner
covered.
Pick.
A lake.
I got a book
he's got a favorite lake.
I got a shoe pick. I got a dick. Wait, no.
That was actually good. I'll give you that one. That was clever.
Right.
So
I did not see it coming.
Movie pick. Go check out Arco, one of the Oscar-nominated animated films of the year.
And Rental Family.
It's a time travel movie in the style of Studio Ghibli, but it's made by a French guy. Just really good.
Wait, how can we see it? Is it on streaming or something?
I think you have to rent it online.
Okay.
Yeah. It was only in theaters for a hot minute. TV pick, Traitors. I'm sure a lot of our listeners already watch Traitors. Traitors is like the reality show right now. It's basically a bunch of D and F list celebrities playing mafia over the course of every episode. Like there's some traitors and they're going to kill people in the house. Anyway, really fun show. But I'm going with my video game pick this week for what we're loving. uh, which is a game that I both love and absolutely hate because it's so frustrating and hard. It's a game called Cairn, Cairn. Those like little rock piles you see when you go hiking.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a rock climbing sim.
What?
Which it's basically just that. You are a rock climber. You are actually in the game. You're like the world's greatest rock climber,
Oh, okay.
and you're going to the game is just you going to climb like the tallest mountain or something like that nobody has ever managed to get to the summit before, and you are out there on your own. You have a little climb bot. You have like a little robot thing, sort of like very Star Wars-esque, but with less of a personality, who assists you. But it's you and the mountain.
Oh, the art
And
style's kind of cool.
it's yes, so that's actually what drew me into the game initially, is the art style. It has a very like line heavy on the line, like comic book illustrated artwork, so very much a cell shaded game. Just really really beautiful and epic, right? Like when you are on that mountain, you're like looking towards the world down below and you're looking up at the sky above. It's just like absolutely gorgeous. But even when you are doing the climb itself, right, you play this like kind of like lanky rock climber character, right, and it's in third person view. And she's barefoot, and like her feet are wrapped up and her hands are all taped up and wrapped up, and she's doing the rock climbing. It just looks really cool. They've done such a great job with the visuals on this, and that is the thing that pulled me in. I am not into rock climbing, though I know Savon, you and your Michigan ass, you are, so maybe you'd be into this. Because I think I have gone rock climbing before, and I think the game actually does a really good job of adapting the experience of climbing a wall to the in-game mechanics, where you basically control each limb one at a time, right? Both hands, both feet, and you cycle through each limb as you try to find a new hold for each one of those limbs, right? Like you're trying to find a new place on the wall to put your foot, to put your hand, and to prop up your character, right? And you manipulate the joystick to find a hold for each one of those limbs, and then I think you hit square to lock it in, right? And that's your hold. But what happens throughout the game is that, like, depending on how your limbs are placed, depending on what face of the wall that you have found your hold on, what that wall is made of, like whether it's like a smooth surface or it's rough granite or if it's covered in snow or water from the rain, right? That's going to affect how much of a firm grasp you have on that hold, right? And so if you have too many loose holds, right, your character starts shivering, like uncontrollably shivering, and the vignetting on the screen really intensifies. So like, and the color seeps out of the game, and so like that's the game telling you like, oh no,
You're gonna fall.
you're gonna fall. Right. And so you better now find a better hold real quick. You better find a better position for yourself. So part of it is the individual limbs holding, but then
Okay.
part of it is also the culmination of all your holds together, and whether or not a human body can hold that pose long enough, right? And with the strength that you have. So those things factor into how much quivering starts to happen and whether or not you're going to fall. And then of course you have, just like in other games like in Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, you have a stamina meter, but you don't know, like the game doesn't have an on-screen meter to show you. You just kind of have to like feel it
Vibes.
out. Yeah, it's all on vibes, and that's what makes this game so frustrating. It's really hard. It's really hard. And you're only going, you'll go like a few feet up, and then you'll screw up because oh man, I didn't know that. Like, oh, I had already wasted my stamina from hitting a really hard pose earlier, and now I can barely hold on into something that I think should be easy enough for her. And you fall, and then you lose all your progress, and like you have to start back from wherever the last landing was, and hopefully you didn't die from the fall. And so it's one of these games that maybe like similar to a Dark Souls game, right, where you really have to proceed, get good, right, to get to the next platform of the mountain, right, and to the next save point. Otherwise, you're just going to lose all the progress that you had made. And that's a real challenge, and it's a real challenge. And so like this game to me feels kind of like a cross between sort of like that Souls like mentality of difficulty, and also the joy of climbing that you get in a Zelda game, in the recent two Zelda games, but also the kind of like the challenge of doing these mini puzzles, right? Because you're basically like honing in on like tiny little details to figure out like what is a good hold for you, and then doing it in a timed way, right? Because you can't maintain a hold forever. Your stamina is going to drop to zero, and then you're just going to fall. So you're doing it in a timed way, kind of like with the difficulty of a platformer, right? So it's all those few things coming together in a single game, with a very nice art package on top. And like it to me it feels like in a lot of ways what you would do rock climbing, right? Like you're trying to assess every little
Yes, I
inch of that
suppose.
wall. um okay, okay, Mr. Free, Alex Hoddled over here.
I suppose
You
there's some. Or,
you you you
yes, I guess there's some
you can tell
commonalities. I
me you can tell me how
suppose.
that really like
I
pans out.
suppose. No, I'm messing with you. No, you're right. I'm just still gonna
But
give you a hard
like
time.
it's like you feel like kind of the intensity of getting up that wall, and you're like, holy shit, man. I climb like 20 meters. All of a sudden I really don't want to fuck it up at the very top. And it's rewarding, right? Like I said, like when you get up that, that 10 meters, that 20 meters or whatever, and you get to the new landing, like it feels so satisfying and so rewarding. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I just completed that. uh Lord, may I never have to do that ever again. And then like you're like, oh shoot, there's more of the mountain left over, and it looks really hard, but I got to do it. Like it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, this is super frustrating, kind of annoying, really hard. I just got to keep going. I want to conquer one more section of this
Nice.
wall. It's that type of game. Super fun. I'm almost finished with it. And I want to say I put in like 15 hours or something on it. It's not like a yeah, it's not like a AAA game. So I think it's $20. But really great, really refreshing. After playing Clair Obscure for a long time. Uh, yeah, just like a total palate cleanser, and kind of a good way to get outside without really going outside.
I'm watching this walkthrough, and she like fell down and like turned bloody.
Yeah, she falls like a rag doll,
Yeah.
tumbling down the mountain.
I
Why does the rope attached to the robot not like save her?
So
that's the question
there are
you
many
asked.
frustrating things going on in this game, and
Well, like
one
when
of
you're
them
climbing,
is
if
like,
you're on belay, right? Like you fall, but you like get caught by the rope. She's on a
how
rope.
does it doesn't make sense. Yeah, so logically in the game, like you have this robot helper that goes with you that helps you belay, but like it doesn't prevent you from like falling all the way sometimes, and like you only have so many um screws that you can screw into the mountain to belay. And like so like you could run out of screws, right? And screws are kind of a way to have like a mini save point in
Yeah.
the game, right? You're like, okay, I know I'm safe here, right? But then you run out of them, but you have a robot that goes with you, why can't the robot just take them out and then keep moving them up? So like there's stuff like that, like illogical
they
stuff.
leave them so you can go back down.
Yeah, but it's like you have a robot. like a robot could just like do that for you. So they have stuff like that in the game that clearly are there just to make it harder.
Gotcha.
Is
Is there story involved? Like, do you learn more about the climber?
Yeah. She has her own backstory and stuff. It sounds like she's kind of depressed and going through some ish and trying to put herself through the ringer. And then she meets a couple other climbers along the way, and they have some dynamics that carry out through the game. But really, I think
Bridgerton dynamics.
not yet. But
what does that even mean?
They sleep in these tents.
You know what it
those
means.
are some close quarters.
All right, cool. Is it mobile or is it PS5? How you?
No, this is a PS5 game.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's on other platforms or not.
Cool. Recommend to most people, some people. What's your thoughts?
I don't recommend it to Wes because I think you get really frustrated with it.
Oh, okay. It's like that hard to like get her to like hold on.
But there are actually a lot of toggles that you can turn on and off to make the game easier.
Okay.
And I have actually turned some of them off. Like the whole thing of only having 5 screws on the mountain. Like after a while, I was just like, this is impossible. So
you gotta plan your route, baby.
I got yeah. That's the other part of this game is like really planning your route.
I'm just funny because you're describing the stuff, and I'm like, hey man, that's what you gotta do when you climbing at the gym. You gotta chart your route. You gotta plan.
Can
you gotta see like which
ahead of time.
What's that?
Like, can you see the rock face?
Yeah, you can look up at the mountain and you can like assess the wall. You can say like, oh, this wall actually has like kind of a narrow shaft that I could crawl up, or this part of the wall would require me to go up and then diagonally to the right and then zigzag back over. So because that's where all the holds are. So there's that kind of assessing. You can kind of tell like which part is going to be easier.
Okay. Which is how it is at the gym too. That's how it is. Like half the time you're looking at the route before you even touch it, just trying to look at it and say, all right, what the hell am I about to do? Because to Brian's point, certain holds you can hang on to comfortably, and you can actually like hold your arms in a way where you can conserve energy. But there's other holds that are just not as secure, and you might need more chalk to get a good grip on it. And if you're going to use it, you have to commit to a move right after because you won't be able to hold on to it and think about it. So, I mean, I can see how translating that into game form of weather, positioning, even times where it's like, hey, I can't do this next move until I get my left leg up higher. That way my lower body can be more stable, and then that'll let me have a better grip with my left arm to explode up with my right arm to go to the next portion. But to your point, Brian, all of that can also be contingent on how good is the hold, because again, are you exploding up? Are you doing like a quick exploding motion where it's like, hey, you need to full send it, otherwise you won't finish it, but if you wait too long, you're going to burn energy and have to start over? Like that happens where you got to do a move and immediately commit, otherwise you burn precious energy and you're not going to make it. So I can see how a game could do a good job of simulating the balance of limited resources, quick decision making or timely decision making, efficiency of movement, and just economy of movement and resources. Like I could see what the appeal is, because that is very much how actual climbing is. Half the time it's staring at it, trying it, getting back down, saying, okay, I got this part, I've got 2/3 of it figured out. What do I need to do to figure out this last 1/3? And then theory crafting that. And like, if that sounds like the loop of the game, I can see why that.
Thank you, Professor Savon. Game theorist Savon talking about economy of resources. That's exactly what goes into this
real
game,
talk.
right?
But
like,
that's how it is in the gym, though. It's economy of movement. It's the exact same premise.
It's what you got to do. That is like this game in a nutshell, right? Like you're managing stamina, strength, positioning. Also, you have like hunger, thirst, and energy gauges that you gotta like. So you also have to manage your backpack of resources of like actual like food and stuff like that. And there's some crafting that goes into it as well. Like you go up the mountain and you find some you find food and water and stuff, and you got to craft it so that to make sure that when you go up the wall, you have enough resources to sustain yourself through the entire climb. So if any of that sounds fun, managing your economy of resources, that sounds like life. If you're into that, this game is for you. I think actually this game, like for like wannabe rock climbers, probably like myself, is very appealing. I think to actual rock climbers, I think they would get a kick out of this. I think for anybody that watched like Alex Honnold climb the
Free solo?
Taipei
Oh.
101 or whatever, like, yo, you free solo a lot in this game, and it feels crazy in game as you're doing it. So it only like makes you appreciate what he's doing to like another 1,000th degree. So if you're into like any of that, I would say this game is like a really low bar, right? It's like only $20. So this is a good way to kind of get that thrill in game form. And yeah, you know, if the art style you dig it, like also another factor that comes in.
All right.
Don't know if I play it, but I see the appeal, and the more you describe it, I'm like, yeah, this feels like it's very faithfully. It's very, you know, some games that's copied off of like a more niche hobby. It's more of just that in appearance rather than actual execution. But this looks like this was made by, and I looked up the game a little bit. The people who put this together really did their homework and spent a lot of. This game was in development for quite some time. Looks like they did a lot of their homework in terms of researching mountains. It's nice to see that this game, clearly they did their homework in terms of, we're not just going to have it be like Assassin's Creed, you climb and shit. Like, they clearly talked to climbers and looked into like the details of it. Even just a bit about even you just saying chalk and the angles of your legs affecting your ability to do an arm movement. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. These people really did their homework, because that's one of those things you don't realize until you climb yourself. Like, that's why I started doing yoga, because I needed more hip flexibility to climb in a way that was like, oh, you can't put your leg up here. You're not going to be able to climb any higher than this. That affects all of your, just your leverage, your angles, everything. And so I could see a game leaning into that being really, I could see why this would be a game that would be frustrating, but very rewarding to complete. Much like climbing, where afterwards you feel like crap. But boy, when you
Accomplished.
and you finish that, when you like sitting there holding it, like, oh, okay, I need to do it. I need to just make a move, and you just go for it and stick it. It's like, oh yeah, I am Spider-Man.
I also, yeah, I was thinking about Savon doing yoga, and it made me think of like Dalsum from Street Fighter. Like,
that's where you go, Dalsum.
yeah, like, dude, you have like the longest limbs, and now you're gonna add the flexibility.
Give me some time.
Straight up
Give me some time. I'll start shooting yoga fire, slapping people from across the room.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yoga flame.
Yoga flame. I like Dalsum.
But he plays with Zangief.
Yeah, damn right. Zangief, baby. Pile driver.
Boring.
You're boring.
He's more into chest hair.
More into pile driver over and over again.
I'm more to
Grab, pile driver. Grab, pile driver.
Sometimes there's a German suplex in there too. Little lariat.
Boring. All right, friends. That'll do it for us. Savon, what was your what we're loving?
Bridgerton, baby, season 4.
Mine was Sunrise on the Reaping. And Brian, what was your what we're loving?
Cairn.
Cairn. It's hard to say
I
that.
don't know how to say that.
Cairn.
Who
Well,
came up with
you
this
had
word?
Cairn, then you have a show, then you have something else.
Arco and
What
traders.
What else?
Traitors, not traders.
For book, Drome. For sneakers, Air Max 1s. For blanket, Brooklinen. What else?
What is a
What about dog? What's your what you're loving in dogs?
Cavapoo? Cavapoo Sean, technically.
Rivers?
Cuomo.
Ethnicities?
Rivers
No,
Cuomo.
let me stop. Let's stop
He's
now.
the lead dude from Weezer.
Oh, I was thinking
Did you say
Hudson,
ethnicity?
Hudson or
and
East.
then I said stop.
Filipino, 100%.
I thought you were
Acceptable land.
thinking
The only
Andrew
acceptable
Cuomo.
answer.
I was like, Andrew Cuomo's
Correct.
next. All right, friends. Well, enjoy your weekend. We're out of here. Have a good one. I don't know what's homework for next. We'll put it out on the socials so you guys know. Talk to you later. Bye.
Peace.